I am Gurley L Martin, and this is Blast from the Ram's Horde number 10. Politicians have become preachers. Preachers have become politicians. Why is that? The exact same reason for both. It is good for business, their business, but not at all good for the individual in either case. Neither is any business of the other, yet the two cannot be separated. One's religion determines one's politics to the same degree that one's politics determines one's religion, defined as the quest for the values of the ideal life, new world order, and so on, involving three phases: the ideal, the practices for attaining the values of the ideal, and the theology or world view as relates to the quest regarding the surrounding universe. There are only two methods of governing: either the tyranny of force, resulting in abject serfdom for the vast majority, or freedom to govern oneself in a republic representative of the desires of we the people. Of the 30 major religions of the world, 19 are classified as pagan. 6 is Islam, 5 is Christian. There are hundreds, even thousands, in the divisions of the 30. What might this suggest? In the first place, either they all 30 of them, are correct, or at least mostly so, which in turn indicates that there is no divine providence, no one God in charge of anything and anybody anywhere. Or there was and is God as the Word that reconstituted the earth and its environs, then created and placed man and woman on this earth, exactly as he said, which in turn indicates that all man's beliefs or religions are false, and that man, for the most part, being unaware, is living a lie. John D. Rockefeller Sr. is credited with saying that competition is a sin. It does not matter the context for his belief. He was correct. Any person or group of persons that attempt to compete with God commits sin, defined as the transgression of the law. What is the most important thing in your life that God commands you to do? In the first place, attitude towards God is everything. Secondly, attitude towards man is like it. You must love the Lord your God with your whole heart, your whole soul, and your whole mind. You must love your neighbor as yourself. The whole law and the prophets depend upon the two commands. What is love? Love is the fulfilling of the law. What is the law? It was taught in the beginning in the garden. It was codified and given to Moses to instruct the 12 tribes of Israel at Sinai. It was a choice then, it remains a choice today. To know and understand the future, we must know the past, whether for good or evil. Of all the peoples, their churches, religions, governments, politicians, or statesmen, the ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. That is, and are us, of the good, not so old U.S. of A. Is the tiny country of Israel containing Jerusalem really Israel? Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, when in blessing the twin sons of Joseph, Ephraim and Manasseh, said, "Let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. Manasseh shall also become a great people. But truly Ephraim shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations." Judah's descendants were blinded by God from the whole truth of God's time plan, else time would have been shortened. The Jews, greatly gifted in economics, education, medicine, government, finance, and so on, would affect all peoples of the earth. The descendants, 12 sons and 1 daughter of the first son of Abraham, Ishmael, along with all those alive today of all parentage, or that ever lived prior to and since Noah, Ham, Seth, and Japheth, will know that God is, and be taught his simple rules, 10 of them, of life forever as spirit beings just a little above the angels of God and required to choose either life eternally or death as if never having been. Everything in life is a choice. No choice is a choice. Great things can be done by the weakest man who is willing to trust in God and do his best with what he has been given and has left to do with. The greater the meddling and the muddling by governments, the greater the loss of individual freedoms to do all by thyself that which is required for the survival of the family of man, to create his own stimulus without the mentally deficient and fraudulent middleman of government taking their cuts. There cannot be a federal tax, none, 0, 999, on the individual. Only the local or state governments have that constitutional alternative. When Gurley L Martin is president, an immediate gathering of all statesmen elected to the Congress will be called and sequestered into a special session to study every facet and action of the federal government as to whether or not sanctioned by the Constitution. Then immediate action taken to comply with said document. It is that simple. The hurt will be minimal and short, and the gain will be maximum and for the long haul. In my time, Calvin Coolidge, Al Smith, Robert Taft, Barry Goldwater, and Ronald Reagan were my choices. My friend and my choice for president, Ron Paul, sort of a middle of the roader as compared to Gurley L, has suggested that the military, every man, woman, and child of it, be returned to U.S. territory, along with all usable hardware, just as soon as the ships can get there to pick them up. All efforts toward empire building from Nimrod of Babylon, the first despot on earth, until now have failed and always will, simply because man can never agree as to who will ultimately be in charge before total bankruptcy and destruction in all respects becomes fact. It follows that we the people of this greatest of all single nations have the greater responsibility for everything, good or bad, happening around this world. Since successful completion of World War II, almost certainly bringing the entire world to the point where no flesh will be left alive unless. The plain truth is, we must simply tend to our own business and affairs here at home if we are to have a home to attend to. We must recall and reinstitute our beginnings if we are to forestall our ending. We must cease meddling and muddling in the affairs of all others, allowing all of humanity to do their thing as well. Now is the time for all good men, men are men too, to come to the aid of the party, the grand old party as formed and created by Jefferson, Madison, and Monroe, the Democratic Republican Party. There had never been a credible Democrat Party until Franklin Delano Roosevelt cobbled together all the alien philosophies, the misfits, the something for nothings, and the occupy every county seat with shanty towns in every state of the United States for handouts, commodities from FDR. Those who do not stand for something will fall for anything. We, the people, must one more time protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. In his day, John D. Rockefeller was famous for handing out silver dimes to passers-by on the street. That same coin is today worth from $3.50 to $4. The Standard Oil gasoline he brought to market sold for 20 cents per gallon at the hand pump with the 10 gallons glass cylinder on top. Just a little hint as to just one reason why the Federal Reserve System must be gone. Since Eden, no man, except the one man is man too, or nation is or has ever been perfect. If it were so, then God, through the Word who became the Christ, the Son of God, who made available to man the Holy Spirit, the mind of Christ, is either a liar or he does not exist, or man has believed a lie for 6,000 years, plus or minus a few, and is faced with extinction unless, proving that man cannot rule himself apart from God. We, the people of the US of A, must convince God through the mind's eye of Jesus Christ that we are worthy of the truth of his forgiveness. God said, "The earth is mine. Be it so." Gurley L Martin and Elmer J. Fudd. Thank you very much.